Hi, welcome. I'm trying to learn Biographyology, and after we've done that, we're going to do standing yoga. And if you participate in the standing yoga, then that's what I ask. Joseph. Feast day is the 19th of March as husband of Mary. And the May the 1st as Joseph the worker. Okay, two feast days. 19th of March as the husband of Mary, and the 1st of May as Joseph the worker. Symbols in art. Infant Jesus, carpenter's square, play, rod and lily. Okay, the lily is a flower. We have it here also by Anne, lily holding infant Mary. And rod, I don't know what a rod is, play, a carpenter's square and the infant Jesus. We're having a picture of the flight into Egypt from 1627 by Rembrandt painted. And there are here, it must be Joseph, and a donkey, and Maria, and infant Jesus, I think. But I'm not sure, a flight into Egypt. Maybe we're going to write here what it is. Patronage. Farmers, manual workers, especially carpenters, dying, Belgium, Canada, China, Peru, and of a universal church. Okay, Joseph is the patron of the father, of the manual workers, in particular the carpenters, of the people who are dying, of Belgium, Canada, China, and Peru, and of a universal church. Paintings, for example, Bartholomew Murillo's The Holy Family, Francisco de Zurbarán, Rest on the Flight into Egypt, Hermenet's Rembrandt, The Flight into Egypt. Profile, foster father of Christ and husband of the Virgin Mary. Okay, he was the foster father of Jesus Christ and also the husband to the Virgin Mary. Considering Joseph was entrusted with supporting the Holy Family, the Gospels provide us with only a sketchy impression of a man and his life. I don't really understand the sense. Whatever, the Gospels are telling not so much about him as a person or his life. We're talking about that he was entrusted with supporting the Holy Family. Although a descendant of King David, Joseph nevertheless lived humbly as a poor carpenter. Okay, he was descendant to King David, but he nevertheless lived more as a carpenter and very poorly. The first clue to his character comes during his betrothal. I have no idea what it is. To Mary. When he discovers before their marriage is consummated that she is pregnant and he faces a moral dilemma. Consummated. I don't know what it means that the marriage is consummated. Whatever, he discovers that she's pregnant and he is now facing a moral dilemma. Thus is that told about in the Gospel, and he can no longer go through with the marriage, yet he does not wish to dishonor her publicly by renouncing their intentions. Is he not yet married? Whatever, he doesn't want to dishonor Maria and publicly, and therefore he does not want to renounce their intentions. And I don't really know what renounce means. Does it just mean to take them back? Whatever, he acts to keep Maria's honor steady. Having resolved to terminate the union quietly. This is complex English. He receives an angelic message telling him that Maria has convinced through the Holy Spirit that it is God's will that Joseph marry her and be a son. So they weren't married yet, okay. Okay, having resolved to terminate the union quietly. He can no longer go through the marriage, so he cannot marry her. He is not married to her yet. He can no longer marry her because she's pregnant. Yet he does not wish to dishonor her publicly by renouncing their intentions. So he cannot marry. He is in a dilemma. He cannot marry her because she's pregnant. But he also does not want to take back his promise to marry her because that would dishonor her. And whatever now means to have resolved to terminate the union quietly, he is receiving an angelic message, and that tells him that he telling him that Mary has convinced through the Holy Spirit. He receives an angelic message telling him that Mary has convinced through the Holy Spirit that it is God's will that Joseph marry her and bear a son. I don't understand who has said whom, but whatever, he should marry Mary, and that is according to God's will, and also Mary who is bearing, Joseph marry her and bear a son, and who is bearing a son. Was charged with guiding and protecting the Holy Family. Charged can be used in that term. Was charged with guiding and protecting the Holy Family, Joseph plays out the role of a caring, responsible father who acts according to his conscience and spiritual direction. Okay, he is now charged, and he should now guide and protect the Holy Family, and he plays out his role of caring and being a responsible father for acting by his conscience and spiritual directions. After the birth of Jesus at Bethlehem, he takes his family to Egypt to escape the wrath of Herod. Okay, we went to Bethlehem, and there Jesus was born, and now Joseph is taking here the flight out of Egypt, the flight into Egypt. They're fleeing from Bethlehem to Egypt because they want to escape the wrath of Herod. It was a king at the time. On his return to Palestine, so from Egypt back to Palestine, his fear of Herod's successor prompts him to go north to the district of Galilee. I didn't know that. Okay, we are in Bethlehem, where Jesus was born, and then they escaped to whatever. They escaped to Egypt, and now we went back to Palestine. But now there was the fear of the successor of Herod, and now we went north to Galilee, where he settles in the market town of Nazareth as a carpenter. Market town of Nazareth, whatever, somewhere in Galilee is this town Nazareth also, and where he works as a carpenter. It is this trade that he teaches Jesus, and, no doubt, much of his early speech and manners too. Okay, Joseph then teaches Jesus in carpenting, and that's carpet making, isn't it? No, I'm not sure what it is, because I heard it differently. No, I don't know. Okay, maybe that's because I don't know what a carpenter is. I just thought it would be someone making carpets, but I heard something else, but maybe I don't know what a carpenter is. Whatever, he teaches Jesus in carpenting, and also in speech and manners, loudly, do I say here. We do not know Joseph's age, so we don't know how old he was. Medieval painters depicted him as an old man. Okay, the medieval painters said he was older, but they lived 1,500 years later, so we don't really know how old he was. Clearly, by the time of the crucifixion, when Jesus tells the beloved disciple to take care of his mother Mary after his death, Joseph is no longer around to fulfill this role. Okay. Around 30 years after the Bethlehem to escaping to Egypt, then back to Palestine and Nazareth in Galilee, when Jesus is crucified, where Jesus tells to, whatever, I don't know to whom, the beloved disciple, Jesus tells them to take care of his mother Mary after his death, and Joseph is no longer around to fulfill this role. So 30 years later, when Jesus tells someone that they should take care of his mother Mary, and Joseph is no longer there. His cult grew in the Eastern Church from the 4th century, but did not catch on in the West until the late Middle Ages. Okay, 400 years after Christ, there was growing a cult in the Eastern Church around Joseph. In the West, more in the Middle Ages, later. Thereafter, it seemed to gather momentum, and in 1870, Pius IX, so one pope, declared him patron of the Universal Church. Okay, 1870, he was made by Pope Pius IX the patron of the Universal Church. Many churches and hospitals are dedicated to Joseph, and today he frequently represents a kindly figure of fun in children's nativity place. I don't really know what it is, children's nativity place. Okay, many churches and also hospitals are dedicated to Joseph, And these are represented as a kind figure in children's nativity plays. Now it was chosen. If you were here for biographyology, then you can go directly to the next part of biographyology. We will do now the standing yoga. If you stand participate in the short standing yoga, then it's with the arms. We're breathing in and lifting the arms up, then the feet standing together. We've already get down. Out and down. The arms up. Out over to the side. In and up. Out to the other side. In and up. Make an inch space between the feet and out to the side. In and up. And out with singing down. In and up. Out onto the side. In and up. Out onto the knees. Breathe in. Out, make a head of the back. In into the middle. Out the belly of the back. Again in. Out the head. In into the middle. Out the belly. Into the middle. And out the first arm back up, make a top, and make at the top of the backward shoulder. We bend the arms up. Out onto the side. In and up. Out over the sides down. Breathe in halfway up. Higher up. And out and up. Breathe in reach high. Breathe out to the side. In and up. Out over the sides down. In and up. Higher up. And out and up. Breathe in up on the tiptoes. And out and down. In and up. Out and down. In and up. And out the arms over the sides, down, feet are together. Breathe again in, then the right leg. And breathe out, stretch the left leg. In and change. Out and stretch. In. Out and stretch. In and change. Out and stretch. Into the middle. And out and down. Breathe in, lift the right hand up to the sky. Breathe out with the left knee, look over the right shoulder to the right hand. Breathe in, hand down. Out and down. In the hand up. And out with the right knee, look over the left shoulder to the left hand. In and down with the head. Out and down. Make a hand of space between the feet, shift the leg to the heels, and breathe in and go down. Breathe out up again. In and down. Out and up. In and down. Out and up. One more time. In and down. Out and up. Take hold on the elbows and gently rock from side to side. Hands again down, feet together. Breathe in. Halfway up with a straight back. Out and down. In, halfway up, straight back. Out and down. With an arms over the sides up, hands together, and down. Bring the hands intertwined over to one side, behind the back, tall and shoulders back with out hand, head over to one side, chin onto the curve, curvy arm and shoulder down. Breathe in, lift the gaze, turn over to the other side, hands over to the side, breathe in. Or chin onto the curve, curvy arm and shoulder down. Breathe in, lift the gaze, bring it into the middle. Feet are standing together, breathe in, lift the arms up. And we draw the shoulder blades together. In and up. And out, draw the shoulder blades together. In and up. Palms together and lean back. In and up. Out, lean back. And up. Up across the fingers, reach high. Without reaching for another back. In and up. Intertwine the other way around, breathe in, reach high. Without reaching for another back. In and up. And out, lean back for the long arms. In and up. Out, lean back. In and up. Out the arms down. Breathe in, lift the arms up. in and out. Up and down. Breathe and lift the arms up. Bring the hands to touch love and down to heart center. That was a short standing yoga. I thank you very much. Until next time.